live. Thank you very much for joining me. After reading the caption of the broadcast, please do read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it. You see that thumb underneath the video, right? Like it, share it, invite your friends, and your not so friendly friends, your frenemies. Tell them to join us. They may actually pick one or two things that may help them too. So we have a lot of catch up to do. So we're going to start this from the statement of Oshiomole, the Edo senator who was present at the screening of the supposed successor to the man that Dangote wanted jailed for corruption. And, it's not just for corruption. I think it's also, he wanted him to be actually also jailed for sabotaging the oil industry in Nigeria. And that is Malam Farouk Ahmed. So the guy who was the head of the NMDPRA, okay, you probably know the story, right? So he eventually resigned and they nominated the replacement. So discussing what is believed to have been snippet from what Dangote revealed, because Dangote went as far as filing a petition at the ICPC, as well as suing the same NMDPRA also because of this Farouk for corruption. So Oshiomole believes that with what this guy has done, the damages, the ruin, the sabotage, is not just meant to walk away like that. In fact, he should be hung. Here is where we're going to start from this evening, because we do probably have a longer evening, if I must tell you, right? Please share the broadcast. Let's start with this.
It bears repeating to congratulate, particularly Madam, because there is no question, sir, that this issue about women empowerment and equality is an issue in Nigeria. So I commend the President for finding you worthy of being appointed. And Mohammed, looking at your CV, you are all qualified. The issue for me is not qualification. It's your policy choices. And that is where I would like to learn from you. Everywhere in the world, the nation state make deliberate effort to protect local industries, not because we like the owners of those industries, but because we want to create jobs for Nigerian people. Those jobs will not be achieved by weeping for the jobless. It is by supporting businesses, particularly manufacturers that are labor intensive, like refineries. Over the years, NNPC, which you were a part of, invited and issued refinery licenses to so many. Fortunately, we have had one big one, and others not so big, and some modular refineries. Unfortunately, access to crude by these small modular refineries has been an issue. And your predecessor that was removed, and I celebrated it last night, he needed to be hanged. In my previous statement, I said, if we don't hang him, he will hang Nigeria. Because anyone who is opposed to jobs being created in Nigeria, who prefer importation, importing poverty here and exporting our prosperity abroad, do not deserve to live. I want to see how his case will be pursued to conclusion. With you, sir, having been in the industry, and I imagine in your heart, you lament that refineries that worked before. I was in Kaduna. Many of my relations were getting jobs and contracts, LPO, to the Kaduna refinery. They are all dead. Now that you are here, and in view of the very shameful performance and policy choices of your predecessor, will you be informed by the spirit of patriotism and the details of jobs for Nigeria, not the details of the owners of refineries, the people who work there, who are our brothers and sisters, our children who learn chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, etc. What step will you take to balance national interests with this idea of run down the country so that you can import, and people who are adding no value make money without effort? But I want to congratulate you And more importantly, salute our president for acting properly without allowing for a vacuum. And I'm still going to drink tonight because of the removal of Farouk.
Already baked the cake, let me put the icing. Straight to the point. Engineer Aliusa, what will you do different? Your predecessor did not do well. It's on record. What will you do different? Number one. Two, Mr. Chairman, we are in Dangote refinery early this month. We have seen a lot of things, we hear a lot of things. And I can assure you, Nigerians like me, I'm close to the ground, I'm already on the ground. And he that is on the ground, fear no fall. I want you to tell us here, what are you going to tell Nigerians, what are you going to do different with what the SAC predecessor did to correct that impression, because there are negative impression about that. Number two, ma'am. Number three, over to you, ma'am. You are an experienced person, according to my distinguished colleague, Ekpeyo. You are predecessor to 0/0. When you go in there, we want to see difference and be friend to the stakeholders, especially the committee. Your predecessor, let me call it a common lafe, has no any relationship. He is above everybody. And I will join you, sir, this evening to drink on his removal. It's not sack. This one is just, no, there is not, they are sack, not resign. Sack. That is it. Thank you.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
Those are the clowns that are seated in authority to make decisions that will eventually affect millions of people. Interest. To start with Oshiomole, his own angst too is pretty much like Farouk possibly wasn't favorable to them and the committee, which is on petroleum. So therefore, it wasn't like it didn't resign. It was actually sacked. That's their own impression. Then it was premising again his position on the fact that what Dangote released, and none of this has been proven. None of this has been proven by anything, right? Yet. But with these guys, they say it's on record. Like he didn't do well, this and that, okay? But immediately they are already positioning themselves, okay, to be favored by these new incoming guys by pointing out what, contributed to the removal of their predecessors. Still self-centered. But yeah, we started with that. Another catch-up we have to do, just before we get into other details this evening, right, is what happened in Burkina Faso. For the past few days, we have had people who have taken sides, those who felt like it was an insult for Burkina Faso to have detained Nigeria's military jets, and including the 11 personnel on board. Others felt like, no, it was actually an insult on Burkina Faso. For Nigeria, who knew, believed to have known that the AES airspace is restricted, right, including to Nigeria, and they could have easily avoided it. So both for and against, especially for those who are like against what happened in Burkina Faso, they wanted Nigeria to show the might as the giant of Africa, right? So that countries like Burkina Faso would never, ever dare, to provoke Nigeria again. I was like, who provoked who? Your aircraft violated their airspace and they took action. Then you are like what? Provoked? Anyway, behind the scene, the rumor, well, that one is not behind the scene. The rumor started flying that this personnel will be tried, okay, for international espionage, which means they were spying on the country. And if they were found guilty, of course, they will receive a death sentence. Rumor, okay? However, again, behind the scene, the Nigerian authority, including their foreign affairs minister, Tagat, right, went to Ouagadougou, that is in Burkina Faso, to meet with Traore, where they pleaded their case, like as usual. And I think, well, that is what I believe was needed, right? So that meeting yielded good result because 24 hours after that, the personnel, the aircraft, the personnel were getting ready to leave the country. I call it a catch-up before the real thing. Here, watch.
Well, first of all, I'm leading a delegation sent here by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Tout d'abord, je conduis une délégation envoyée par le président Bola Ahmed Tinubu, président de la République fédérale du Nigeria, afin de livrer un message au président Ibrahim Traore. Un message de fraternité, un message de solidarité d'un pays africain à un autre. Nous avons discuté de plusieurs sujets en lien avec la sécurité de notre région, en l'occurrence la lutte contre le terrorisme, sur la manière dont nous devons lutter ensemble contre les fléaux. Nous avons aussi discuté sur des sujets relatifs à l'avion nigérien qui a opéré un atterrissage d'urgence au Burkina Faso après avoir subi une avarie. C'est déplorable qu'il y ait eu des irrégularités dans les documents, notamment sur les autorisations de survol de l'espace burkinabé. Cela est regrettable et nous nous excusons sur cet incident malheureux. Nous avons aussi évoqué le sujet d'un leader d'un parti nigérien qui fait des commentaires disgracieux concernant cet incident. Cela est lié sans doute à une incompréhension de la situation. Le président Traoré, le gouvernement du Burkina Faso et le peuple burkinabé ont été très accueillants et disposés à nous accompagner. L'équipage a été très bien traité. Cela saute aux yeux et c'est évident que le président Traoré était directement informé sur la prise en charge de l'équipage depuis que celui-ci est arrivé au Burkina Faso. Cela souligne le niveau de fraternité et de solidarité qui existe entre deux nations africaines. Bien sûr, nous avons évoqué aussi des points sur comment nous pouvons collaborer aussi bien avec d'autres pays de la région sur la lutte contre le terrorisme. Le Burkina Faso a enregistré des succès significatifs en la matière. Donc, il y a des leçons à tirer sur ce volet évident.
I don't want you to forget, in case if you don't understand French, at least you could actually use your own instinct to match the words together and you could make sense of what they're saying, right? He was there addressing the Burkina Faso TV or media by trying to tell them that Nigeria and Burkina Faso, they are, in solidarity. That means they are like friends. They, they share lots in common, especially their fight against all this terrorism in the Sahel region, in the area of security, in the area of friendship, and as Africans, African unity, the blah, when the entire AES countries, right, are very much aware the role Nigeria is playing right now with France in continue the destabilization of these countries. Do you get what I mean? They want all these guys in these countries, like all these guys are running things there. They want them out. And a few times Nigeria, under this Tifnumbu, they've shared their threats against them through ECOWAS. They've threatened them. They sanctioned them. They are still under sanctions. And you're going there to tell them about African solidarity, African unity, cooperation in this or that. But that's not true. But on the part of Traore, by the way, right? We are a gentleman sort of agreement. Let them go. But don't do this anymore. So for the first time, we got to see the faces of these personnel, right? Who have been detained for more than 10 days now.
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, the head of the government delegation from the President, Federal Government, and the
Surely, yeah. Video. Okay.
Extremely happy and elated to see you in good health. And we bring warm greetings and felicitations from His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has been very concerned about the situation. Has been in touch with the since what had transpired. And today, when we arrived in Maiyegun, we met with President Ibrahim Traore. We had very meaningful discussions. And I'm happy to inform you this results. He has assured us that we are, unless somebody wants to remain behind you're set to go back home. So apologize for any inconvenience. These things happen as you go. This is why it's good to have good diplomatic relations with other countries. And you know, Nigeria has no enemies in the world. So the matter has been resolved and addressed. And all we would look forward to is to hear from you if the plane is in a condition to fly back. And then, we start going towards that. If not, President Traore has been offered to assist in fixing any technical issues we may have so that we will be able to convey you back. Happy to see you once again. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We're really happy to see faces from Nigeria after such a long time. For now, we'll not be able to see whether the aircraft is able to fly yet until we get the engineers, because the issue that made us to land in the first place. We finished resolving it, but we had not intended to start. So we have been resolved before we supposed to wait to order the aircraft. So hopefully we'll get the aircraft on the aircraft. And I believe we have a lot of experienced people as well. And whatever issue it is, I'm sure we'll.
So that was yesterday. And today, they have been seen or spotted in Ghana. So which means they finally fixed their aircraft and they've been able to fly to Ghana, where it is now said they will continue their journey to Portugal. You possibly have seen this clip.
Please stand there so that you will appear properly.